Somebody said to me, well, they don't have district conventions yet. I said, with the way these countries are growing, there will be district conventions in the future coming this way. You guys are doing such a great job. The international conventions are annual conventions, your leadership schools, the basic trainings, the NUOTs, the B5s, the ECCTs, the product trainings that go on. All these things are the things that keep people learning, growing, and staying in the business until they see what they can really do with this. Now, we have coming up some pretty big events, don't we? We have our 2018 Market Malaysia Leadership School, and that's going to be November 2nd through the 4th. And I want to talk about these two events for a second. Of course, our Market Singapore Leadership School that'll be coming up October 26th through the 28th. And what I want to talk about is this. The time is now to get your tickets for that. I'm a big believer when we talk ticket sales. What ticket sales really are is they are commitment. They are saying that I am going to be that person that grows, that I believe in what I'm going to do over the next 6 months. Would you guys agree with me? Because, I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you. Oh, good, you are with me. All right, perfect. Because really what you're saying, if you don't purchase 3 tickets to that next event, mentally, you are saying that I don't plan on growing in the next 6 months. And I'm a big believer, you have to put out there what you expect to do. I remember going to my first leadership school in 1998. And there were 3 probably major things that happened to me there. One was I saw Elizabeth Weber talk about building in the homes. And I learned about building in small groups of people and leveraging my time and how important that was. Second, I heard her say, you need to buy 10 tickets if you're serious. And I thought, holy cow, 10 tickets? That's a huge amount of money. I don't know if I have a job in a few months. And she's telling me if I'm serious, I gotta buy 10 tickets. I went and bought the 10 tickets because she was making $1 million a year and I wasn't. I figured I'll do what she tells me to do to try to get there. But the third thing that happened to me was when we did recognition. And when we did the recognition, there was a man that was called up. And what was going on, they were doing as they always do. Marty Weissman used to be our MC. You guys probably remember that. And Marty was calling up. He said, we've got somebody who's grown faster than anybody we've had in the history of the company. They went from executive coordinator to executive director in the last year. And we're going to have them speak and train for a few minutes on what they've done during recognition. Now, I was sitting this was a Coliseum, and I was sitting in the top seat, against the wall, like the highest seat up, the worst seat in the house. But the advantage I had is I could see the clock. And the clock said that they were going to give this gentleman 15 minutes to speak. And I thought, wow, 15 minutes to speak at a national convention. This is going to be great. I had my notepad out. I was ready to take notes. I was going to learn everything from everything he said. And Marty Weissman said, please welcome up Ben Ginder to the stage. And this gentleman walked up, and I was expecting someone who was going to be like Elizabeth, electric and talking and really excited. Instead, he walked up and he took the microphone from Marty. Marty said to him, now Ben, can you tell everybody how'd you do it? How did you move so fast? And Ben took the microphone and he said, I sold tickets. Thank you. And I sat there and I'm going, there's 14 minutes and 48 seconds left. He took 12 seconds. And I thought, this is not, and Marty looked like I did. Marty was on stage like, no, you're supposed to be training right now. Ben, really, really tell us, how did you move so fast? Nobody's ever moved that fast before. And he took the microphone back and he said, Marty, I bought and I sold a lot of tickets. And then he went, thank you, and walked off the stage. I turned to the guy next to me and I go, I'm going to be a millionaire. Because in my mind, I said, if he can buy and sell tickets and get his people... See, Ben is smart like a fox. Do you know what I mean by that? Ben doesn't go out and train all the time. It's probably not his specialty. But what he knew was the more people he got in the seats at those major events, the more people he would have belief in where the company was going. And by doing that, he was leveraging his time. Now, some of you came here by yourself today, am I right? So if you came here by yourself, we've been here since 9 o'clock, we're gonna go till whatever time we go, say 6, that's 3, that's 9, that's 9 hours. That means you got 9 hours of work done today while you were here. Now, some of you came here with 10 people. Now, the 10 people on your team who came with you, they were here 9 hours, which means you got your 9 hours and another 90 hours of growth that is going to come because you got them to this event. That's 99 hours. Some of you came here with 100 people. You came with 100 people on your team. Now you got 900 hours and 9 hours. How many of you would like to have more hours going into your business every single week? Get more people to the events. These 2 events are going to be outstanding. Don't hesitate. Make that commitment. Pick those tickets up so that you have them in your hands and you have it in your brain what you're going to do, and we're going to be able to tell that success story about you sometime in the future. When we talk consistency and leadership, I think it's something we need to understand from a business standpoint. By the way, if you want to be a leader's going to be the first one in line to pick up the tickets. Because they're going to show their people what they expect them to do. When we talk consistency, you can't stop and start in the business. You have to stay very consistent. There may be times you do more, there may be times you do less, but one of the things you have to do is you have to stay consistent. You have to show up. You have to be around. You can't disappear for 2 months or disappear for 3 months. And don't let life get in the way of living. Sometimes things happen in our life that are tough. And when they happen, we stop building our business. But you know what we do? We still go to work every day. We forget about our dreams. Don't forget about your dreams when things get tough. What you really need to do is give it your all for 2 to 3 years. If I were you, I'll tell you what I do. I do the same thing I did. I would give it everything I had for the next 36 months. And at the end of that time, if you say, if it's not working, if you're not happy with how it is, then stop. But you will never know if you always do it part way. You always do it a little bit. You want to give it that, even in a part-time basis, treat it like $1 million business and do it right. You know, commitment is really a lot of times about discipline. It's like working out. It's like eating right. Discipline is everything with that. There's a lot of times you don't want to work out, you don't want to exercise. And you have to have the discipline to get in the gym or to do something. And when you do it, you feel better afterwards, don't you? It's no different in our business. We think about it all the time. And the unfortunate thing about thinking about our business is when we think about it, we get tired. When we do it, we get excited. So I'm going to say that again. When we think about it, we get tired because we're not doing anything. When we do it, we get excited. So don't think about adding 2 possibilities. I want you to go out today and figure out, where am I going to find 2 new possibilities? If it has to be social media, fantastic. Whatever it is, let them know. Call one person per day. Make a call today. Get on the phone with somebody. Tell them how excited you are after being here, that you need to talk with them when you get back home. And then show 1 business plan a week. Take the action to do that. I am going to continue to talk about action steps the entire weekend because that's what we need to do to get this building. You show me your routines, your habits, and your rituals, and I'll show you your future. Because what you do on a regular basis is going to determine where you go. It's funny, we get involved in the business, and we don't schedule the way we would schedule as if we were working another job or an initial job. We sort of just hope. I mean, we're sort of walking around sometimes and we like hope somebody's going to walk up and say, hey, do you have a shop.com business? I would love to start with you. That's not how it works. We have to have a plan. How are we going to talk to them? What are we going to say to them? How are we going to do it? And we have to do it on a regular basis over and over. Really, it comes down to this. You have to do something on a daily basis. If you go a couple days with doing nothing, your business is going backwards. I'm a big believer that we don't stand still ever. We either go forward with what we're doing in life or we go backward with what we're doing in life. So if you say, I'm just going to stand still, we're not standing still. We're actually going backwards. So you always have to do something to move forward. You know, it's interesting. We talked about this earlier about when the time would be right. And it may never be the right, if everybody waited for the right time to do things, well, for one thing, nobody would get married and nobody would ever have children. Because it's never the right time to do those things. So the timing's never going to be right. We're always going to be busy. Money's going to be tight. Someone will be negative. There'll be something else. Economy will be changing. Things will be up and down. This business we talk about of inconvenience and that we mentioned earlier is a fact. It is a lot easier to not do these things, isn't it? I mean, it's a lot easier to not make that phone call. Anybody get nervous when you make a phone call to somebody about the business? We're going to talk about this a lot tomorrow, okay? And try to take some of that away, but I know we all do that. So when you have a business that is inconvenient, you have to figure out, okay, how do I move past this? What do I do? And again, it comes down to being inconvenient for 2 to 3 years to be convenient for the rest of our life. And that's what leadership is, leading the way. What we need from these two markets, we need leaders to continue to grow. We need you to grow so you show other people what is possible. When I watched Recognition, I was so proud of everybody up here. And when we saw people who were hitting professional coordinator, supervising coordinator, national coordinator, what we're telling people is it is possible that someone is already doing it. And I hope all of you saw that. I know a lot of you, as you watched it, you said, oh, I wish that could be me. It can be you. But you got to make the choice it's going to be you, like we talked about earlier. You got to decide that I want it bad enough, that I'm going to go to work and I'm going to make those things happen. It's back to the basics, like we talked about. Take the things you've learned today, the technology. I mean, how about what Mark went through with what we're doing? How do you guys feel about having Shop Buddy and having Shop Buddy coming soon? I mean, is that incredible to have those things in your local areas, your local countries? I mean, take the technology, add it to the basics, and see where we go with this. Stay focused. Show the plan. Remember, how did I start the day? I said, I'm only responsible for what I say, not what you hear. I am pretty sure you guys are going to remember this by the end of the day. Would you agree with me? Show the plan, use and share the products, sell tickets. And to sell tickets, we have to buy tickets. We have to have them in our hand to move them. And then build in the homes or in the small groups, become a shopping annuity master member, and become a master on franchise owner. Now, one of the things I do to keep me on track is just a simple checklist. And on this checklist, it goes through and it says things like, did I listen to an audio or watch a video on YouTube for the business or personal growth? And then I just put a check mark that I did that for the day. Very simple, because everything that is easy to do is easy not to do in this business. So that checklist tells me, boom, did I do it? My goal is to do it at least 5 out of 7 days. That I listen to an audio or I watch a video and keep my mind growing because I have to become more. Did I read 10 or 20 minutes a day of a business book? Something that's going to teach. Remember, I was the student who didn't like to read, who now reads nonstop because I like when it applies to what I'm doing in life. And that's what we're doing here. So that's my second thing. Do I read a goal statement? Do I go over that? All of us should have a goal statement written. You should know, where do you want to be a year from now? Where do you want to be 5 years from now? Remember when I showed you that house that we're building and we talked about it? Do you remember what year I said we started doing the blueprints for it? 2005. It's 2018. That means that was on our goal for 13 years to get it finished. We had a plan on how to get there. We had it written out. We knew exactly what we wanted to do. So you need to set up that goal statement and then read that goal statement on a regular basis so that it reminds you of what you're doing. We have a goal to sell one product per week, one product per week to a new customer. I want to add one new customer who buys one product, because moving BV is what will get us paid. Moving BV will get us paid. We want to add we want to also order from one of our shop.com stores each week. We want to make sure we're taking the time to go in and learn our shop.com site, because one of the things we know is if we learn how to use our site, we're going to learn how to teach other people how to use our site. So by using it ourselves, we have the ability to do that. We want to add 2 names to the same thing I've been talking about, only here I track it. We want to call 1 person per day. Here I can track it. We want to show 1 business plan per week, minimum. Here I can track it. Now, I want to be real clear as you're looking at this. And I've gone through these things, and then I'll include some follow-up, doing follow-up with a business partner, and I'll include a couple meetings per week. And a meeting might be going to something like this, or it could mean going to my business presentation, my UVP, or it could mean going to a little home meeting or doing something like that. But if I did all of the things you see on this sheet, if I did them all, how much time would it take me to do in a week? This is very important to understand. I could probably do all of that in under 10 hours, maybe 12 maximum. Okay? Now, with that being said, we can all fit this into our schedule. How would you like to have a team of people who did what I just talked about every single week? How do you think your team would be? If everybody showed one plan, everybody added 1 new customer, everybody listened to an audio 5 days a week minimum. And by the way, you can listen to an audio while you're doing other things all the time. I do it in the gym all the time. I can get it done. I can get my exercising and my knowledge done at the same time. So this is a simple way to keep track of things, because I want to tell you why people don't succeed. The number 1 reason that people don't succeed is they come up with excuses. Well, that's fine for them. That's fine for that person. But you don't understand my situation. You don't know what I've been through. You don't know how hard it is. Here's what I'm going to tell you. Get rid of the pity party. If you want to have a party, have a fun party, not a pity party. Because for every person who's got